Welcome to Mark Media. I'm your host, Mwebaze Asimwe Lucy. And as usual, I'm excited to have you with us today. Today is a special day. We are featuring a very special young man right here, seated with me. This young man is a former drug addict, and he was able to check himself into a rehab. I have not heard of such before. I find it amazing. I will ask him to introduce himself shortly, but before I do, please do remember to click on the bell icon, subscribe with us so you can follow our stories. Well, you're welcome.
Thank you, Lucy.
Please do introduce yourself to us.
My name is Denis Arinaitwe.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for hosting.
How old are you?
40. Made 40 this year.
Which month?
February 19th.
February 19th, you made 40 years. So I want us to start at that point. How did you get into drugs?
It's I think back in 1995,
Yes.
I happened to, after my P7, my parents really wanted me to go to Ntare school. And in Ntare school, there were issues with the grading because I had, I think, 12 points. And so there was an opportunity for me to be in Ntare, but meantime, as they find this time, the school, I mean the space for me in Ntare, my parents, he had friends, my parents took me to Chigezi College Butovere in Kabale.
Okay.
And my parents wanted me to be distant from home. Since we were old boys and we were being taken care of, we had to be now to start taking care of ourselves. And that's why they chose the boarding section for me especially. So in the boarding school, yes, even then I was a curious guy. I wanted to do so many things, and I made so many friends. The fact that I was from Entebbe and I didn't know how to speak my language, so everybody was curious about how I would speak, how I spoke Luchiga. And
this
stuff.
guy from the city.
Yeah.
You were a celebrity of sorts?
Yeah, kind of. And my dad used to send me newspapers every weekend.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I used to read a lot. So at the time, I had so many friends now. So many friends. Those I was attracted to and those I wasn't attracted to. And my curiosity led me to the drugs. With these friends, over time, I first started with the cigarette. Yeah, we used to go in the school pitch where we used to play soccer. Now in the evenings, I wasn't the guy who would follow up guys or stuff. I wasn't into sports, but I liked table tennis. So I played table tennis because I played table tennis in primary before. So my game was table tennis. And then I'm a new guy. I can't access every resource in school because it's limited to the people who have been in school before. Now you are in Butobe, you call you Ngata. You're a new guy, so
fresher.
You're limited. Some privileges you don't get.
Yes.
Yeah, and then, but I had my dad had given me a mentor, a chairman school council. Martin is a teacher in Kampala now, teaches literature. So this guy used to stay with me in a cubicle because Butobe had the record of bullying, teasing, and what. So I needed somebody to keep me away from the teasing, and I was a mama's boy at the time. The left I was crying. I didn't want to be alone. So
the teacher would actually spend the night within the cubicle?
Yeah, he's not a teacher. He was a student in senior 5.
Okay, an older student.
Another student and a prefect.
Who cannot be bullied.
He cannot be bullied.
I hear you.
And he would protect me. But
so you actually had a bouncer.
I had a bouncer.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But then, among my people, my classmates, I was very young. I was about 13, 12. I was studying with old guys, very old guys. And
those days, children would go to school when they are much older.
So, among my friends, there were guys from Mbarara. And these guys were so much into music. They were very outgoing and, And my eloquence led me to them. They wanted to be a part of my life, and I would talk a lot.
The celebrity.
Yeah, you could say that. On this one very day, it was the last day of my first term in senior one. There was this guy called Sunday, Malik, this friend, they were in the center. We had gone there with them, but I had to go eat and come and join them later because they would do things and sometimes they would hide a bit, and I wouldn't mind. But this time, when I came to them, after my dinner, they come to them and they're like, "Oh, you come. So the other time you tried cigarettes, what happened? I told her, cigarettes were too heavy for me. I just went to sleep. I was so dizzy and, you try this out. I mean, what's this? I try what? I didn't know even what I was trying. They was not seeing anything around, but they were fidgeting around, I think rolling weed, marijuana at the time. I took a couple of puffs because I had learned how to inhale, how to draw from a cigarette and you inhale. So, and the cigarette's impact is instant. When you're fresh, when you're new into it, you really get knocked immediately. But first time on weed, it's not instant. It could be instant, but you don't realize it. It comes slowly. It hits you slowly.
There's nothing going on. Let me try again.
So even this guy, I'm like, what's happening? I keep smoking and I tell them, you say it's going to hit me up, but what's happening? I don't get the height. You smoke. You keep drawing, keep smoking. You guys, this thing I don't like. There's no impact. I don't even feel the smell. But while you're drawing, it's not like a cigarette. You feel some sourness at the throat. But weed, if it's sorted well and you don't feel a thing, it's like you're smoking water. You don't feel any impact at your throat.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't understand this thing. I left. Now, we're walking back to school. Now, while I was walking back to school, I start feeling the impact of the drug in me.
Okay. How did that feel?
Unique, weird. Like I start feeling like I'm walking on springs.
Okay. You're walking in space.
In space, you know, and there's that energy you get. I can't describe the feeling because I've never gotten that feeling again.
Okay.
That's what causes the addiction. You want to get that. If you've been sober the first time. So even the second time, you won't get the first impact. Like the first cigarette I smoke is not the same impact I got when I smoke a cigarette much later, the next time. So I start feeling these springs in my legs, and these guys, I think they notice. Because I start bouncing, I change my walking style, I change my accent.
So the words also come faster?
Yeah, they come faster or slower. Or slower. Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's a corridor in Butovere. There's a corridor in around the canteen and the library, and then the laboratories. So, and we had to go through it. Now, that scared me at first. Because when I got there, I think it was in my mind, hallucinations. I see a guy coming with a bike.
To knock you?
Yeah, and it's a corridor, and I have to.
So it's like you're seeing a road in your
head? There's no road.
In your head, what was going on?
I'm seeing I'm in the corridor, but there's a guy coming on a bike. So I had to put my whole body against the wall to let him pass. Now these guys come who are following me. They're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Piche genda back on atemujira." So these guys are like, "No guy, bimukubye." That was the language. "No guy, bimukubye. Let's take him to sleep." They took me to the dormitory, gave me a lot of water, but I couldn't rest. I had to talk.
You're restless.
Yeah, it was restless. Talk this, talk that, talk this, talk that. And they were there to laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh at my fake Ruchiga mixed with English, Luganda, And these are guys, they were guys, mainly were guys from Bara, and they spoke a lot of Lunyankole, but less English. Yeah, and the following day, we were going back home.
Okay, yeah, holiday.
And now I'm like, this thing, no. I can't handle. I go home. But then in that whole season, I had learned to smoke. I was smoking heavily. Because before I did the weed, immediately I got into Butovere. It's cold. Most of the people I was accustomed to was smoking, and it was easy for me to learn cigarettes. It took me some time, but it was easy for me to learn cigarettes. And I had issues with my chest before. Even my dad used to smoke a lot, but whenever he smoked in the house, I had issues. He wouldn't. It was me that caused him to never smoke in the house.
You had like
allergies, sinuses and stuff.
You would react
I would
badly.
react, and I wouldn't see myself like ever smoke. So it was kind of a surprise even to my dad when he's like, this guy smokes. I was very surprised. So, but I had gotten accustomed to the smoking because Kabale is really cold, and now we used that as something to heat up, and it's an excuse the students would have because they were always gadgets. Parents packed us with everything to keep warm, you know. And the peers, the curiosity, the age, so, and less guidance because I was far away from people, everybody I feared. Whoever I respected, I was so far away and had the freedom to do whatever I wanted. Whatever, you know, whatever they blocked me from doing now, I was like, so I had to limit myself, and I didn't have that guidance. Even this guy that, Martin, that they told to keep me, he lost control over me. Yeah, he kept in touch, we stayed together in the house, but with time, as time went on, I got wilder and wilder. So, when you come back for senior 2 now.
So you go on holiday?
I go on holiday.
You didn't do nothing in the holiday?
In the holiday, I respected my parents. My dad was still around. Actually, he was a bit sick then. And I would abandon everything. That is, I think, my holidays. I'm going back for my 3rd term of senior 1. Now, when I go back to school, it is clear when I left, I wasn't happy with what I had done before. I wanted to do away with what I had learned. Okay,
so you were not happy with the new habit?
Yes.
You wanted to let it go?
I wanted to let it go within me, because when you go home, you're a bit cancelled. You see, it's like you go back to the roots. You see where you're coming from. You get the focus back, and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going. But once I learned in school like this, it's a whole different thing. It's like whatever you've anticipated, whatever you had,
all your plans,
you had planned to do. You have, because now you have pocket money and you have all these guys. Some of them are from Rwanda. I had lots of friends. From Rwanda, Malawi, Burundi, Zimbabwe.
And those are rich people's children.
Exactly. Now that's why I'm coming at. Their parents worked with UN. You know, they had a lot of money. Now, they happen to be Sundari, Brisa. Now, these friends of mine, they had a birthday and they invited me. And remember, inviting me means you have to escape. So they told me, if you can come to holiday, there was a hotel in Kabale, a famous hotel. It was the best hotel at the time. You'd hardly find students in the hotel, but these guys were hanging out in this hotel. So they invited me for them. So you come and find us here. I think it's Batuma's hotel. So it's the first time I actually tasted beer. Unlike the beer we used to taste with the parents on parties, and they come, you sit and then chase you away, stuff like that. So the first time they bought me a beer, and I asked for ESB.
So you're saying your parents had made you taste a beer before?
Yeah, on parties.
Like how? Like they would test this?
You're running around and you come and your papa holds you and is like, you want to try some? Yeah, sour. It's like, okay, get out from here. It's not good, never try. So something like that.
So now officially you ordered your beer?
I ordered my beer.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was an ESB. I wanted to feel tough. It was tough. It was a strong beer, extra strong beer. Now these guys were like, can you handle that beer? I only drank one. And the chapters were closed.
So how did you get back into the drugs?
Shooty had a party. Immediately we got back to school.
Okay.
Now, before that party, while they were preparing for the party in the night, that's when I did the cigarettes only at first.
And the beer?
The beer is at the party. Now we are at school
before
planning.
The party?
Yeah, we're at school planning for the party. Who's going to escape? Are you coming? If you don't come, it's up to you. So they're doing the weed and I'm doing the cigarettes. The cigarettes are too heavy. They're making me dizzy and stuff. Like, why are you suffering those things? Try this. I tried the other time and you guys were telling me I'm seeing things that are not existing. I don't know, this was your first time. You can try it again.
It will get better.
You get better.
Really?
But you did maybe too much. You kept inhaling. This time, you take it 2 puffs or 3 and let it go. Yeah, and I did that. And the feeling was different.
Better or what?
You could say better. Like I wanted more because it hit me fast. And now I really wanted to find out how this thing is, how it operates. I felt I wanted to do everything I could not do. It gives you that. You see.
You feel macho.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and when we got to that night, we didn't move. The following day was the party day. That's when I had to.
Then you go to the party and have your ESB.
Yeah, I have my ESB. I first played a game of pool. First time I played a game of pool, 96. Yeah, it was good. I got so interested, but when I drank the beer, it knocked me off. I had to sleep in the chairs. There were so many Bachiga guys talking. I vomited in their chairs.
Okay.
No, those are big guys in cavalry who are like, where is this? Why you bring this young man to suffer here? You know, I didn't realize how young I was until I saw a picture of me then. Because I met an OB. It's called Kong Muchiga.
You are so little.
Very little, very little. Because I was sitting with these guys, Suruti and Shundari, and Ndeme, a guy called Ndeme. I was sitting between them, and I was a baby. These guys were tall, big guys. So I just realized it, and now I just realized it now when I saw that picture. Kong Muchiga is like, how did you kept this thing for too long? So on that party, it was a mess. But now I wanted the drug.
So now you actually get addicted.
Yeah. I could run away from it at that time. But I really wanted it. And now these guys kept me close. And whenever they wanted to smoke, they would invite me.
So do you think why would they be interested in having you join them? Is it because of your money? Was it because, what do you think their motivation was? Or they just wanted to hang around
They
you?
wanted my company. They wanted, because I only spoke English. I only spoke English. And I had to explain a lot of things to them. And I had a lot of stories because I read novels. I read a lot of novels. And I would create a lot of stories around them. I would make them happy. You know, addicts are boring sometimes. When you're around them, they are all dull. After they get high, they keep quiet. And this instance, it was me.
You were the entertainer.
So I would entertain. Wow. And I would dance, break dance, you know. Yeah, and I was a fat, short guy. But I was flexible. I would do things, they would be like, oh, this guy can do this. So
maybe you also enjoyed the attention.
Yeah, I enjoyed the attention, of course. You can't do something without them instigating it.
Okay. At which point do you get addicted? When do you realize that I actually cannot do away with drugs?
Much later, in 97.
Which class were you?
I was in senior 3 when my dad died. That's when I wanted to leave them. Because on the burial, and actually I wasn't at school. They came and looked for me for a long time.
Okay.
I had left school for about a month ago. I only went back to do exams and left. I was in Rwanda with these guys. A tour, I don't know, of sorts.
What? Partying?
Yeah, like that. You just in some people. Now these guys, one of these guys, the dads was a mechanic in UN.
Okay.
Now, as a mechanic in UN, they had access to cars, they had access to money and to travel, and the father was rich. Some of them would be like, because the brothers of these guys would be like, I want to go to Europe. A guy goes to Europe and studies there for a month or 2, and he's like, I'm tired of it, he comes back. And they bring him in Butobere. And the guy is from UK, he's in Butobere now. And next time you hear he's out of Butobere, he's in Rwanda somewhere. The next time you hear he's in Mozambique somewhere. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So, your father?
When he passed,
yes.
They looked to the Banfunalwe Guro. I had disappeared from school. I was so high on drugs. I didn't know what I was doing. I was actually stressed. Even that day when he when they were looking for me, I was somewhere at a professor's place, one of the kids I was staying with. And my instinct was not good. I was not feeling good until at night, some friend of mine called Brian, the guy who taught me how to play table tennis. Brian comes at night. When I see him, he tells it to me point blank. The first time he saw me, told me, Dennis, your dad is dead. And okay, it hit me. And I didn't know what to do. But I think they had told them, tell him immediately, you see, because they had looked for me the whole day. And there was nowhere. And that's the time we had landed.
From Rwanda?
Yeah, but when we landed...
Back to school?
We were now in town, some place.
Oh my God.
In town. When I got to town, I wasn't comfortable. These guys moved. They did that, but I was in bed.
You could feel that something was wrong.
It was wrong. I was in bed.
I
was in bed the whole day. Now this evening, they had even forced me to get out to go find something to eat. That's when they tell me, your dad is dead. Oh. So they tell me your grandpa is at the hotel, some hotel, and your uncles. It's night. It's about 9.
They had come
PM.
To school to pick you
in the morning,
but couldn't find you.
They phoned me at 9 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. So, they took me for a shave. My grandpa took. Nobody was hard on me at the time.
They knew it was already hard as it was. They didn't need to be hard on you.
Yeah. So I had a lot of hair. Dreadlocks, so they were like...
Dreadlocks?
How are you in school with dreadlocks?
Were they allowed in school?
They were not allowed in school. Dreadlocks are only allowed in school lately, but then they were never allowed in school. And
so meaning basically you hadn't been in school long enough to grow dreadlocks?
For about 2 months.
Jesus. Wow.
About 2 months and a month. Or a month, yeah. So, at that point... we drove off. There's lots of lectures. I have a stubborn uncle who won't hesitate to say something. So he kept talking, and then my grandpa kept telling him, why don't you leave this guy alone?
He has enough to deal with.
Just leave him. And yes, we went, did the burial and blah, blah, blah. And I really felt like a lost sheep.
It dawned on you that I am going the wrong way.
Yeah. Now I look at my brothers, who were all so little. And my mom. That hit me.
And you were the firstborn, meaning you needed to be responsible.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the heir, right?
Now, at the time, after the burial, they all decide you're not going back to Kabale. Don't tell us whatever you've left there. Don't leave it there. Because my things were scattered. My mattress where, my suitcase where, my clothes where, I couldn't trace any. I could trace a few, but I needed time. I was telling them, I'm going to pick my mattress here, I'm going to pick this the other side. And they were like, this guy, we're going to start looking for him the way we look for him when we go to Kabale. So, we are going to Kampala. We're going back to Entebbe. And you're going to study in Entebbe. You're going to commit from home, no more boarding. I'm like, cool, yeah.
So they really noticed that something was really wrong with you.
Yeah. My conduct was... People knew me. I was a straight-up guy. But I had no time now for everybody. All I had time for is to look for that company, to look for the drug, wherever it is. And that's what the things I was thinking of. Conversations were never appealing to me and stuff. So... when we go back to Entebbe, they send me home. We had even shifted from Entebbe to Baita Arabidi. This was a new home for me now.
Okay.
I was seeing new things. Now we had friends, another guy called Dennis. He came to comfort me. We were close, we had grown up together, but he was on drugs too. Actually, Dennis thinks he taught me how to smoke weed. Because at the time I never smoked with him. So he wanted to comfort me. He takes me to a beach. Because we had left these guys where? In Mbarara.
Where you had buried your father.
So he comes, we go hang out, he comes, we chat. let's take a walk. Let's go to the beach. There's a beach down here. Because this was a new environment for me in Baita. There's a beach in, and this was a free area. It's not restricted to payments or what. So, while at the beach, he brings out about 4 joints.
Okay, where joints is?
Joints is the weed,
Okay.
the stick of weed.
Okay.
We call them joints. So, like a beer is a pint, something.
Yes.
So he brings out 4 joints. While we were sitting talking, because I had got some cigarettes and I was doing the cigarettes, but I think he knew I did the drugs. I mean, he suspected I
that you had started.
I had started some. So he asked first. I told him, I don't do it. It says it can't calm you down. That's why I think he thinks, because at much later stage, he came here to see me sometime. We had a prayer. And then in his statement, he mentioned something, and I realized that he thinks he got
the one who got you into the trouble.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much later, I told him, Denis,
it wasn't you.
I was
I went way ahead of you.
Yeah, I was wasted by the time you got to me. So when he gave me the joint, I smoked the weed. And I gave him the impression that kind of my first time, I didn't know much about it.
Oh, what's going on?
And and he didn't really push it so much. He just kept showing me that, don't do that, don't do that. You take at least half a joint a day, or in the morning take half, in the evening take half. He kind of lectured me about the drug.
Don't overuse it.
And in my mind, something I want to leave.
The addicts also know the dangers.
They know them more than the people who use them. It is just, and there are some addicts who love it. You know, I go to a ghetto and then I meet guys, and I'm like, mature guys. And when you see them using them, and the way they are using, they are enjoying themselves. And then you start posing questions like, nego nava kubikola ebyo, ani, nze, I can never, okuvaze when akazula kana akantu. And I'm like,
does wonders.
No.
Does wonders for them.
Does wonders for them, but much later, about 3 years down the road, you meet the guy and it's like, good guy, don't come here.
Okay, let's go to the point when you check yourself into rehab. What happened? What pushed you to that state?
I got fed up. I missed myself sober. Remember now, I had more years high than when I was sober. Because I was only sober for 12 years. So the rest of the years, till when I chose to go to rehab.
So when was that? How old were you? Do you remember?
I think I was about 32, 20, some 29, late 20s, early 30s. There, I can't recall. I was tired. I was really tired. Everything was not adding up. I had literally dropped out of law school, and my auntie had looked at me. I loved art. I wanted to do art. Now, when my auntie was like, no, your capacity is not only, I want you to do law, blah, blah, blah. I went for law. I was a good student because I had a background of a diploma in law in the LDC. So, and I was a good student in my class. But we shared a library with the Faculty of Arts, so I kept wavering. I kept marketing art, taking a lot of attention to art, and missing exams. Again, back in the ghettos, drugs, what. So I was fed up after all that. I missed this, I lost this, I'm not supporting my daughter. My daughter is growing up. I'm not giving her the support she needs. There was a lot of things going on for me to really make up that decision, So I walked up to my auntie and told her, I have a problem. And she's like, yes, practically you have a problem.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
Of course you have a problem.
You have a problem. Yes. I'm high on ABC and I've lost control. And remember, these things, you have to fund them and they're expensive. And I was not working. I'm a student, you know, and just having rich friends doesn't mean you're going to be able to accommodate all these things. You end up stealing, you end up, you know, to facilitate yourself with all these things. So I was tired of that hustle. It was not adding up to anything to me, and I was growing up. So she said, yes, you have a problem. I told her, yeah, I have a problem with drugs and I want out. So she told me, I can talk to a few friends. I have some people I studied with. She's a doctor, she's a vet doctor. So I have some friends who work in the mental health facility. I don't know. I will talk to a few people and see what to do. So after a couple of days, she sent me a number of somebody, of a doctor, Sam. He's a counselor in Butavika Hospital. Who I called him and told him, I want to check into rehab. Like, what? I have a problem with drugs and I need help.
That wasn't a familiar sound.
Like he was shocked.
Different from what he's used to. Because usually everyone is drugged there.
Drugged there, you're confused. When they get to the gate and they see the hospital and they realize, and remember those guys around there are alerted. We are bringing somebody, but he's violent. Though he's not aware where he's going. So you have to help us. So they normally fight. Oh, you normally use the cops. They come bring them on handcuffs. At the first time, they are full. They need to organize for beds. Because at the time, the rehab was, every people were checking in rehab all the time. Even when I was there, every now and then you would hear people fighting. Then you go and see you're bringing someone. So it was full for a couple of days. Then later he called me and told me it's open. I'm like,
do I still want to do this?
Yes.
You had a change of mind.
That's the feeling I was having. Like change of mind. I was tired. It was years of being high, really high. And you miss you sleep on a height. And early morning, the first thing you do before you brush or shortly after you brush is a joint or another height and top it up. And then remember, wherever you're going to go, that's the company. And they're always there. So the whole day you're getting high. Even if you spent one full day without touching a joint, you will be high. You get. So that's where I really felt I wanted to be sober. I missed it.
When the doctor made that call?
So on that day, I actually go to the ghetto in the morning, early morning. I pack up my things here, my bag, my rucksack.
You're ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm set to go.
But one last one.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Jesus. Okay.
I'm going to the ghetto. I went there in the morning at 9, 10. I asked for a beer. I had some money. I had about 30,000. I wanted to blow all that money because I didn't know what I'm going to use it for there. So I go to the ghetto. I buy a packet of cigarettes, about 10 joints. I get 5 lines of ice and I do my thing. I didn't even finish those things. I just got fed up again. Because I got high, there was too much on the table. I started giving it out. And it gets to about 4. About 3 o'clock. I said, time is going. I said, will I go back home? These guys are waiting for me in Butavika. Let me go. I went, I reached the gate. I realized I had a matchbox. I give it to the gate man. Like, who going that way? No. I walk through. I go to the alcoholics because they're giving me direction about everything. Alcohol drug unit. I get there. I reach there. I find the nurse at the reception. She looks at me. She was actually arrogant. She was not nice. She was not receptive. When she looks at me, I'm like, I'm here to check in. She looks at me and she's shocked.
She didn't believe you.
At first she asked me, oyagala kulaba ani? Nemugamba ndi mulwadde nzize kube. She thought maybe I was crazy. She thought I was one of those lunatics around. And Because they have
I
those,
know, like,
they have those victims who will come there and they are off and they come and say funny statements and you're like, so
oh my God.
she's like, she first laughs at me, then she looks at me and, you know, in the mocking way, and she laughs at me. She told you how, I see it. I started making my last messages. I was using the.
They take away the phone?
I realized they told me sometimes they're going to. They had briefed me about all those things. So I started making my last messages, my last communications. So, but the woman is not up to me. Then she sent me to another nurse. The nurse told me, we are closed. Go back and come back tomorrow. I told her, I can't go back anywhere. I have come with the problem now. I can't leave. There's nowhere I'm going. You know, everywhere I'm coming from, this is the only place I can be at this point.
Wow.
So the woman refused. She went into, they have their bus, Ministry of Health buses, which drop them to their home. Now they are leaving. Now I follow her. We kept together, we walked, I followed her. She entered the bus, I entered the bus. She sits, I sit next to her. So, she's like, are you going home? I'm also going to wherever you're going. You check me in tomorrow. So you are the nurse to deal with me. I became stubborn. I was tired, I was high. I wanted to rest. I even wanted to sleep.
Okay.
Man says, this guy is serious. Kali Jangu, she gets out of the bus.
Gets out of the bus. Wow.
We go to, they tell me undress, they give me a uniform, like, this one was not part of the deal. I wanted to first reject it, like, no, this is what.
You have to put on uniform.
Put this uniform on, put off this thing. Everything, they undressed me, they gave me my phone, everything, my bag, I put them in the store and locked up. Now. It was a new arrangement. Now they come tablets. I wanted to first refuse the tablets. I first give him the other medicine, one piece of which they give me one injection, I knock out.
Oh.
I wake up the following day.
Where were you?
On a bed in hospital.
So they knocked you out from their office?
No.
Treatment room?
No, it was like on the bed they had arranged for me. I was seated on it as they are counseling me, telling me things that the program, how it runs, how what it's supposed to do. So they're giving me. But shortly before they could finish giving me the shot, I was gone. I woke up the following morning.
Rest.
Yeah. And now, I said, now this is it.
This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let me see how it works out.
Amazing. And how successful has it been? Have you managed to keep clean after that?
After that, I kept clean for about 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And there was a relapse. I met a girl who did drugs.
Okay, tell us about the relapse.
And and she knew all about me before, but I didn't know her. I think I'd worked with her at the airport sometime. And she really liked me, so to speak. So one thing led to another, and I was again smoking weed. And this time I was smoking it heavy, like a lot, because I think I had being sober and, you know, I put on a lot of weight. I didn't like the feeling after about a month or 2. Okay. I saw where I was going, where I was coming from, and I'm going back.
Exactly what it looks like.
Exactly, because I had stopped wanting the weed. Yeah. I wanted ice. I wanted some coke. I wanted some of those other things we used to get from Kisenyi that were making you get high. So, and I didn't like to go there anymore. So, incidentally, she traveled. We broke up. It's the time you're telling me I'm getting married. Telling me I want to get married and stuff like that.
So you were planning a wedding?
Yeah.
But and then she leaves?
She had to go and work. These Muslim girls who like to the Dubai issues, and we talked about it, and I couldn't convince her to stay. But she had promised to come back. You know those things when you're in love and you convince each other. I was mature enough, and people get busy. You know, drug addicts don't have even the work is there, but there's a lot to do. But you keep seated there, you keep dragging things. You don't really have the zeal to. It gives you the energy, and no, it gives you it's a hype.
The energy is inside your brain.
You can build things in your head, and like all those things I've been showing you. You can build them in their head, and they are done, and you're happy with that in your mind, and that comforts you.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So,
wow.
And I wanted to do things. All these things I've been saying. I've done them after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you then get out again?
I met an American guy. He first told me that if you take 2 weeks of weed by yourself, you can fight it. Only 2 weeks. You can even detoxify, and you go and check, and it's out.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, let's try it, because he was getting off it. He had come here with a girlfriend he was teaching me how to weave hammocks. He had learned from Bolivia. So I met him through, again, art friends who had called me to do pallet furniture in a B&B. Yes. A B&B business. All these guys were renting there. So this guy was weaving, and I got interested, and he liked to teach. So we created a plan. He comes here, we do things here, as he teaches me how to weave and get off weed. That's how I managed to get off weed. I had the help of him, but I wanted to. You can only do it when you want to.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you cannot do it. You cannot have somebody stop. You cannot help somebody stop.
So what advice do you have for somebody out there, young people who are struggling with drugs?
Young people struggling with drugs, they have to get back to their roots. How? Look at yourself before the drugs. Look at what you've gone through in the process while you're doing the drugs. What you go through. How many people have run away from you, and how many people are with you? Are those that have run away from you better than these ones that you're with? So when you compare the two, because those help you the more, but they're not drug addicts, they're not doing drugs. These who are doing the drugs, who feed all this on you, and who are doing all these kind of things that are putting you off topic, they're not people you can even run to for help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are people. I lost my eye. I was in the ghetto doing boxing and stuff. There's so many things you want to go for help for treatment.
Are you saying you don't have an eye?
I have it, but it works, but it has a blur vision. Yeah.
Someone punched it?
Yeah, I was doing kickboxing for about 2 years in the ghetto, still hidden there. So
because you felt like Golola. Golola Moses. Yeah, you feel like I can do this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see, this is the kind of people you deal with. That's where it leads you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, these people, it's a company you choose, determines your fate.
Okay, tell us about your life now. What are you up to? How do you feel, like, where are you headed? What are you doing right now?
Yeah. I'm into art, mostly. I love art. And I love my daughter. I'm into working towards supporting my daughter. The bigger picture is so extensive. I want to do so many things that I have not done before. Yeah.
But right now you make furniture.
I make furniture. I weave.
You weave hammocks.
I weave hammocks. Yeah.
Interior designing.
I do interior decor. I do compound designing and landscaping.
And landscaping.
Yeah. I make vessels.
Okay.
Flower vessels.
Okay.
I do upcycling and recycling.
Upcycling and recycling.
Upcycling art.
Bottles.
Bottles, glasswork.
Plastics.
Cloths. Yeah. I recycle plastics, cloths.
Tiles.
Tires.
Tires.
Yeah.
Not tiles. Okay.
Also, and I do some farming.
Oh, yeah.
I farm. I do modern
Okay.
farming.
Okay.
I plant my stuff in plastics,
Okay.
like Irish potatoes. And I love rabbits since I build hatches.
Okay.
So I rear some rabbits as well.
So much for
You're
sharing
welcome.
that story. It's so inspiring. And I ask the young people and anyone out there that is struggling with drugs, you have the ability to be clean. You have the ability to actually be rehabilitated. You just need to step out and take a step of faith and you will get there. Thank you again, Denis. It's
You're
been an
welcome,
honor having you. Please keep on Mark Media. My name again is Lucy, and do subscribe, follow us. We'll have wonderful stories featuring. Thank you. Thank you.